Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Phoenix Initiative Paintball. Today we're going to be playing at the RAF Upwards site as part of the Return to Chernobyl event that was run by OMG Events earlier on this year. Now, I'm rolling with the SAR-12C and the TIPX paintball pistol. Now at the moment, I'm going to be moving into my newest sniper spot, which I just set up to.
Yeah, I know.
This is the morning game, and I had plenty of time to set up. We'd been playing for already about 2 hours beforehand, but I decided I'd get in, make sure that I cleared out this building, and take over the second story. Now the second story was taken by the red team, as well as most of the lower floor. And so we had a few people on the blue forces pushing through the side of the building, and everyone was trying to channel themselves through this one door. I come up here and I spot a red dude and dispatch him back to his spawn. But going through this building, most of the people on our team focused on the right hand side from our spawn, which was like the most full of red players, but also it's the lightest part of the building. And so obviously it made it nicer to travel through, but at the same time it was not tactically the best decision. However, I noticed this small door over on the left hand side, and I started to push through, and Pie-man, the other member of Phoenix Initiative, came up behind me. He was the only other player there with us this day. He was using a Tipman TMC, which he got his hands on recently. It was operating very, very well. But we pushed through this building. We spotted a dude on the other side, but we didn't know exactly what he was doing, whether he was on our team or theirs. So we decided not to open fire because it could risk us losing the tactical advantage in this situation. So I come through this building here, this room, and as I come through the right hand door, I notice something. Obviously all the way clear to the other side, and then in this doorway there's a guy. Single shot, back to his spawn. Now, I don't know why they weren't covering this doorway, and another guy here by this pallet, I put 2 shots into the doorway and then put 1 into him, but yeah, it was kind of perplexing to me because of course these people weren't watching, and then even when they both were taken out, another guy down here just got taken out again. He wasn't paying attention, maybe, I don't know, tunnel vision or whatever, but it's always important to make sure that you check every single angle when you're clearing these buildings or when you're holding possession of them. It doesn't matter even if you think someone is in the room next to you. That's the moment when you're most able to be taken advantage of by the other team. So it's very important that we need to move around, and you need to be very tactical about the situation. Now you notice kind of on the walls for a moment there someone was shining a red dot like a laser sight, and honestly I start to get annoyed by these players that use them, because they're basically like a big shining beacon of hey, come shoot me, and they're not particularly the best thing to use. They're not even, I don't see the advantage you get from them. They're not actually that useful, but either way, so I moved through here. I just kind of popped my head around this corner. This is one of the main buildings. It's across the courtyard from the main entry building, the main signing up building on the other side, and I go down this little narrow hallway, and we've got some friends that have already set up here, and yeah, so we decide that we'll head upstairs and we'll start clearing that top half of the building out. I just cut out the movement, but obviously as you can see here, I'm just going up onto the second story part of the building. I'm now on the other side because I took a walk back around and decided to clear it from the same side again where we would be spawning from, because it'd be most advantageous to try and provide as much support as possible to the troops on our side. Although a pincer movement would be useful, but bearing in mind that that's where the enemy would also be coming from, and they have an overwhelming number of forces at this point in time. So we spotted a guy who was on the other side in this kind of square room, but actually there wasn't a corridor going over there, and we realised later on that actually it's because there's a corridor that goes on the bottom floor, and then there's a stairway that rises up to it, and that doesn't make, well, it didn't make sense to us at the time, but then when we came back and watched it through, and I looked at it, and then when we were back there, same in the second half of the day, we realised that actually there's a staircase that leads up to it, and that actually we'd all been kind of walking around looking for a corridor or a way over, and actually, you know, we got confused. We thought it was a second building, we thought it was a second part. We didn't know what was going on. So I got out Patience, my SAR 12 that recently I just bought the Supremacy scope for, which is excellent. I reload her because I've been using her earlier to get some sweet shots on people, and I just kind of stand back from the window and see if I can spot anyone in the opposite building. And I couldn't spot anyone at the time, but that was the bit where I kind of looked down into the courtyard bit beneath this kind of little opening, and I realised that actually it is all one building. It's just that there's a second staircase, and actually that is kind of a second part. So I keep looking through this building, I keep looking through the windows, and I still can't figure out, like, if there's anyone in there, if we've got people pushing up. So I call some other dudes, and they come and give me a hand, just watch the windows and stuff. We just keep working and making sure that we can keep as much cover over the enemy as possible. And as you can see, as you can hear, a couple of guys opened fire, and one of the guys thought that he got the red dude, but I don't know if that was a blue or not. So there we are. There's Ewan over there in front. He's borrowing Benny Pettifer's SAR 12C, which is absolutely beautiful. It has the original stock that he's had made for him, and it looks beautiful. But yeah, Ewan has recently joined Phoenix, and and he's a pretty good sniper, and I'm looking forward to seeing him on the field coming up to Operation Sparrowhawk later on this year. So I just stick around and watch some of the windows for a little bit, make sure that I keep my eye out. There are some guys on the second and first floor over there, probably about 90, 100 feet away, and I couldn't really hit from this range because through the windows, by the time you take into account the movement and stuff, it wasn't advantageous to shoot through. You just couldn't get a decent shot. So started taking shots through the window, and I just decided to pack it up for the moment, and we moved out. And that's pretty much where it goes from there. I started doing some sniping, and there'll be some more stuff uploaded to the channel later on when we're finished up. But thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.